Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the KB Willett Arena for tonight's non-conference matchup between the UWSP Pointers and the Lawrence University Vikings. The refs have taken the ice here in Stevens Point. We'll go ahead and get you those starting lineups. First for the visitors, the Lawrence University Vikings. Starting at left wing, number 87, Sullivan Gillis. Starting at center, number 8, Emma Perry. Starting at right wing, number 20, Kate Holtz. Starting at defense, number 11, Evelyn Prodkin. Also starting at defense, number 22, Tessa Topolsky. And in net for the Vikings, number 45, Ella Skaborski. The starters for the Pointers. At left wing, number 6, Riley Novak. Center, number 5, Molly Polkamp. Right wing, number 21, Natalie Ahern. Left defense, number 4, Grace Torma. Right defense, number 13, Amanda Puchnik. And in net tonight, a junior from Chesterfield, Missouri, number 34, Emily Grieg. The teams have taken the ice. We will have our national anthems in the starting lineups, and we will be back with you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the KB Willett as we have a non-conference matchup between the UW Stevens Point Pointers and the Lawrence University Vikings. Puck drop set for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Taking a look at the visitors for Lawrence University, they are currently 0-7 on the season. Looking to turn that around and get their first victory tonight. While the Pointers are 4-2-0. Their last loss coming on Friday night against the back-to-back defending champs, UW River Falls Falcons. Whistle is blown. Getting ready for the faceoff. Looks to be Molly Polkamp taking the draw against Emma Perry. Polkamp, a sophomore out of Baxter, Minnesota. Perry is a senior from Beverly, Massachusetts. We have a delay here. Seems to be an equipment problem on the Stevens Point bench. Anderle stepping in on the left wing. Polkamp wins it back to Torma. Torma puts it just in over the blue line. Anderle back, trying to collect. Picked up by the Pointers. Polkamp moves it up to the blue line. Shot thrown on, tip and a goal! Goal scored by number 21, Natalie Ahern off the tip. Deflection right out in front. That's the first shot of the game. Looked to be Ahern from Puchnik. We'll get a confirmation on that in just a second. That makes it 1-0 Pointers. 17 seconds into the game. Puck's back down. One back by the Pointers. They throw it into the Vikings' end. The Vikings make their way in over the offensive zone blue line. They throw one on net, sticked away by Grieg. Up to the blue line. Vikings trying to work it back down low. Cut off by the Pointers. They throw it to the middle. Puck's moved out by Danny Whelan. Whelan throws one on net. Going to be covered up by Ella Skaborski. First shot. First goal off of the deflection right out in front. Face off just to the right of Skaborski. Vikings win it back, move it behind their own net. Reverse it up the boards here on the near side. They move it over the red line and chip it deep. That puck winds up the Regan just behind the Pointers' net. Vikings pick it off and throw it back deep. Puck's picked up by Gianna Nice. Pointers move it up. In over the blue is Avery Ingbrett. She loses control. Here comes Lawrence. They move it out of their own zone. Puck to Josie Daly. She chips it in. Played by Grieg behind the net. Picked up by Tara Regan. Regan moving up the ice. Makes a move past her man. She gets picked off, though. Vikings chip it back in. Gianna Ness looking to break it back out. She drops it off to Regan. Regan chips it up the boards to Kaya Johnson. Johnson's rubbed out. The Vikings pick it up just inside their end. Pointers trying to chip it back into the Viking zone and apply pressure. They pick it up, curl the net. Throws it to the top to Torma. Torma tries to throw one on just off to the left side of the cage. Vikings look to clear. Puchnik keeps it in. Vikings regain possession. They throw one. Refs say it was touched by the Pointers. No ice. Torma picks it up. Tries to make a stretch pass, picked off by the Vikings. Vikings in, top of the circle, shot, and a glove save, Grieg. The Pointers look for the stretch pass, and it was quickly picked off, heading back the other way. Grieg with a nice glove save. Face off to the blocker side of Grieg. Puck's won back by the Vikings. Vikings throw it to the point. Pointers pick it up here on the near side, making their way down the ice. Good stick by the Vikings. Knocks it away. Pointers try to gain possession again. Vikings move it out of their zone. Chipped off to Skylar Arneson. Pointers move it deep in behind Skaborski. Puck's misplayed. Thrown off the side of the net by the Pointers. Still loose. Another shot. Couple good saves by Skaborski. Vikings move it out of the zone. Oh, looks to be a penalty on the Pointers. It's going to be on Alyssa Yoakum. Yoakum, 2 minutes for interference. As she took out Hasagawa. Vikings elect to take the face-off to the glove side of Grieg. Puck's tied up. Vikings collect. They throw it to the far side, Blue. Walk back down and over the circle. Shot, sticked away by Grieg. Nice control by Emily Grieg on the shot from the top of the circle. Vikings, Emma Perry picks the puck up. She's pinned up against the boards. They throw it back down to Perry. Perry to the point. They try to move it back to Perry, and a good stick by Andrew Lee to break it up. Perry recollects. Throws it to the point, back to Perry. Perry back to the blue line. Looks like Pradkin shot on, tipped away. He's heading towards the blocker side and tipped back across against the grain. Pointers throw it in to the Vikings in. 1 minute left here in the minor penalty for interference on Yoakum. They battle for it along the far side, inside the Vikings' end. Vikings recollect. Sophia Lebrecht out-muscled on the boards. Puck's thrown in behind the cage of Grieg. Another penalty coming up on the Pointers. Pretty good body check here, right in front of us. Penalty's going to be on Natalie Ahern. Pointers are going to be 5-on-3 for the next 41 seconds. 15:24 left here in the first period. 1-0 Stevens Point. Polkamp to take the draw. Vikings, Kate Holtz wins it back. They try to play catch at the blue line. Pointers knock it away. Hand pass on the Vikings as they try to keep it in. Plays whistled down. Gonna have a face-off just outside the Pointers zone. Polkamp lines up against Holt. Pointers win it back. Regan tries to clear. Thrown back into the zone. Vikings are able to possess. Vikings far side. Throw it to the top of the point. Polkamp trying to pick that puck off. Ooh, shot thrown on by Hasagawa, tipped away. Regan tries to pick the puck up and throw it out. She's blocked by the shin pads of a Viking. Vikings look to find a seam. Puck's picked up by Regan and thrown out of the zone. The first penalty is over for the Pointers. Still 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the second. Pointers throw it back deep. Puck ends up behind Skaborski, picked up by Hasagawa. Hasagawa throws it all the way around the boards. Picked up by Emerson Berger. Berger, Hasagawa. Puck's moved back out by the Vikings and in over the blue. Vikings curl up, look for options. They move it, throw one from the blue line. Blocked by the Pointers. Anderle tries the backhand one out. Hits a couple of sticks. And it finally makes its way out by Amanda Puchnik. Puchnik throws it all the way down the ice. Finds Skaborski. Now picked up by Evelyn Prodkin. Prodkin takes a step out from behind the net. Tries to throw it up. The parry. Here come the Pointers in over the blue. Held by Rickley. Rickley throws one on. Tipped in the crease. And saves Skaborski. Puck was loose in the blue paint. Skaborski dove back. Was able to cover up. Good opportunity for the Pointers. 2 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Pointers. 13:27 left here in the first period. Face off, one back by the Pointers. Regan tries to shoot it. Picked off by Hasegawa. Hasegawa moves it back into the Pointers' end as it rounds the cage of Grieg. Here come the Pointers making their way back up the ice. Danny Whelan. Whelan moving. Tries to make a nice move. She's interrupted. Whelan back on the puck here on the near side. They throw it up. Shot just off to the blocker's side. Can't find the cage. Arneson back for the Pointers to pick it up. She throws it across. Vikings trying to create some offense. Pointers dump it back in deep. Vikings clear. Looks to be an icing. And it will be. Face off to be back in the Lawrence end. Pointers elect to take the face off on the glove side of Skaborski. Vikings trying to clear it out, having a little bit of trouble. Puck's moved out by the Vikings and in over the blue. Backhand thrown on Grieg. Grieg sticks it away. Puck's picked up by the Vikings at their blue, at the offensive zone blue line. They throw a shot on off the top of the glove of Grieg. Vikings looking to find some offense down the middle of the offensive zone. Pointers move it to Alexis Ralston. She throws it back behind the cage of Skaborski. Vikings collect, looking to move it out. Having some trouble moving it out. Puck makes its way out of play off of a tip. We're going to have a face-off just to the left of Skaborski inside the Lawrence zone. Meg Landman taking the face-off for Lawrence. Pointers win it back. Shot thrown on. Tried to be tipped in front by Anderle. She couldn't get her stick on it. She collects. Pointers throw it out front. A quick stick by number 10, Avery Ingbrett. Puck's moved back up to the defense. Alyssa Yoakum, she throws one on. Caught in a couple of bodies. Vikings look to clear. They throw it off the boards. They're going to say no ice. Yoakum back the play. She throws it up to Anderle. Anderle hit over her own blue line, over the red line, and makes her way into the zone. She possesses. A couple of nice moves. She tried to work it towards the net. Polkamp picks it up here on the near side. Polkamp tries to throw one on net off to the left side. Polkamp picks up again. A couple nice moves. She works her way to the net. Puck's thrown out by the Vikings. Pointers move the puck over the Regan. Regan gains the blue and throws it behind the net of Skaborski. Puck here in the near corner, picked up by the Vikings. They'll clear again, picked up by Regan. Regan back deep into the zone. Vikings rim one around. Puck picked up by the Pointers. Shot on from the blue line. Sicked away Skaborski. Vikings trying to clear here on the near side again. Thrown back in by Gianna Nice. Pointers recollect. Looks to be Natalie Ahern. Ahern, nice chip play off the boards. Pointers make their way over the blue line, no offsides. They try to throw it across, nobody's knocking. Pointers throw one on, knocked away by the Vikings. Torma, blue line again, shot. Throws it off the end board. Being picked up by the Vikings. Pointers throwing around. Torma drops down, trying to stop the breakout, which she does. Puck's pinned up against the boards. Seems to be moving. No whistle. Vikings try to throw it out again. Torma with the good right skate to keep it in. Vikings urgently trying to get it out. And they do. Emma Perry. She backhands one into the Pointers in. Puck's picked up by Puchnik. She backhands one out. Pointers try to throw it across. Back to the Vikings. Vikings put it towards the Pointers bench while they're changing. Emma Perry chips the puck back into the Pointers end. Look to be Yoakum trying to throw it up to Kaya Johnson. Puck moves all the way down to Skaborski, and we're going to have our immediate timeout here with 8:30 left in the first period. Still 1-0 Pointers. We'll be back with you after this brief media timeout. Thank you for listening to Pointer Athletics. .8:30 left here in the first period. 1-0 UW Stevens Point. Face off to the blocker side of Skaborski. Pointers gain possession. Move it around the net. That Alexis Ralston. Ralston moves it to Kaya Johnson. Johnson's rubbed out on the boards. No penalty. Pointers Yoakum picks it up. Tries to throw it back to the defense. Nobody's there. Skylar Arneson tries to move one up the ice. Here come the Vikings in over the zone. Puck's tried to be moved back to Johnson near the red line. Arneson again, backhands out of the Pointers zone to relieve the pressure. Puck's moved back to Arneson in the Pointers end. Arneson moves one up. Puck back into the Lawrence end, behind the net of Skaborski. Picked up by Kinyu. Kinyu gets it out. Here come the Vikings breaking back the other way. Shot on Grieg. She'll cover up. Easy save. After the media timeout, the Pointers are awarded 5 shots on net while the Vikings have 4. Face off to the blocker side of Grieg. One back by the Vikings. They try to throw it across the blue line. Puck's being worked here on the half wall. Gianna Ness moves it up to Anderley. Anderley tied up with stick of Emma Perry. Ness tries to back one to Regan. Vikings intercept, throw it in on Grieg. Grieg with the easy pad save. Here come the Pointers breaking back the other way. Avery Ingbrett throws one on, blockered away Skaborski. Anderley working here in the near corner. Vikings throw it out off the stick of Puchnik. Puchnik collects. She tries to work it past Josie Daly, who gets a stick on it and picked back up by Anderley. Vikings chip one into the Pointers end. Puchnik backhands around the Torma. Torma moves at the pole camp. Tries to make a move at the red line. Puck sticked away. Here come the Pointers. A nice move by number 6. She's in. Shot. Saves Skaborski. And Skaborski will cover up. That's Riley Novak with a nice move around the Lawrence defender. Got in all alone on the breakaway. Looked to go 5-hole. Skaborski was quick. Shut it down and covered up. Face off to the right of Skaborski. Puck's moved to Arneson. Arneson tries to throw one on. Broken up by the stick of a Viking. Yoakum collects. Throws at the number 28, Emerson Berger. Pointers looking to get it back into the zone. Here comes Arneson. She's stopped. Puck knocked away by Jenna Britz for the Pointers. Works her way around here in the near side corner. Puck's moved up to Yoakum. Yoakum throws it deep. Chipped out by the Vikings. Across the ice, the Puchnik. Puchnik, far blue line, throws it in. Vikings can't control. Picked up by Jenna Britz. Britz throws it to Regan. Regan throws one on, knocked away by a Viking. Being worked along the far wall is number 19, Abby Skelly. A pile up on the far side. Skelly comes out with it. She moves it down the Britz. Britz on the goal line, shot off the post. Must have had some daylight. Couldn't find the twine. Vikings move one out. Hasagawa looking for the puck. Took a funny bounce off the boards. At the Pointers blue line, picked up by Regan. Regan tries to throw one across. That was intended for Abby Skelly. Lawrence back in their own end. The defender runs into the boards, loses the puck. Being fought for here on the half wall. High stick played by the Pointers. Vikings will pick it up. Right in the feet of the Pointers. Sydney Wang in pursuit. Vikings throw one into the Pointers zone. Picked up by Torma. Torma tries to move it up ice. Picked off by Pradkin. Here comes Lawrence. They throw a shot on. Sticked away by Grieg. Pointers racing back the other way, trying to get the puck. They couldn't collect. Picked up by the Pointers. In. Shot off the post again. That was number 9, Claire Reisenberg. Lawrence throws a shot on. Easy blocker saved by Grieg. Reisenberg again tries to throw one across the ice, but the Pointers are looking to change. Puck's thrown off the side of the net next to Grieg. Picked up by Torma. She's pinned against the boards. Here comes Rickley. Rickley moves it to Anderley. Anderley. Ooh. Knocked in the Todd Shredder. There's going to be a whistle for I think they're calling a body check on LeBrec. LeBrec ran Anderley right in the Todd Shredder. Looks like Shredder's okay. We're going to have a face-off to the blocker side of Skaborski. 3:20 left here in the first period. Pointers on the power play. Pointers win it back. Ahern walks it across the blue line. Looks to Yoakum. Yoakum tries to backhand one back to Ahern. Takes a odd bounce. Now to Danny Whelan. Whelan throws one on. Blocked by a Viking. Seemed to hit the Viking's ankle. Took her out. Puck's thrown down the ice. Past the Pointers goal line. Picked up by Regan. Regan stops the regroup behind Grieg. Regan throws it to Ahern. Ahern all the way over the Yoakum. Yoakum in over the blue line. Throws one right out in front. Oh, what a play and a goal. Yoakum threw it right out in front to Abby Skelly, and Skelly tips it just over the glove of the Viking netminder. What a great play on the power play for the Pointers, making it 2-0. 2:42 to go here in the first period. Abby Skelly with the goal. That will be her first collegiate goal. The freshman out of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. What a play. Yoakum just threw it right across the Skelly, and she had a great tip on net. Couldn't have placed it any better. Right over the glove of Skaborski. Puck's worked into the Pointers zone. Here, worked on the near side half wall. Pradkin at the blue line. She throws it on. Going to be stopped by the stick of Grieg, and she covers up. Going to have a face-off to her glove side. Face-off to the glove side of Grieg. Puck's won back by the Pointers. Around the net for Avery Ingret. Yoakum tries to chip it around the Vikings. Picked up by Emma Perry. Perry throws it to her girl on the top of the circle. Couldn't get a shot off. Andrew Lee tries to clear for the Pointers. Puck's worked for by Lebrecht. Picked back up by Perry. Perry right out in front of the net. Puck moves off to the side. Poked away by Yoakum. Puck still being fought for here on the near side half wall. Pointers looking to get it out. Good stick by the Pointers, picked up by Andrew Lee out of midair. Puck's just about to cross over that Pointer blue line. Emma Perry throws a shot in. Easy glove save for Emily Grieg. Grieg has appeared in 36 career games, sporting a 15-17-2 record with a goals against average of .278. Face off to her left side. The Vikings throw one on. Good screen, good cover up by Grieg again. Gonna have another face off on her left. Pointers win the face-off back. Gianna Nice moving up the wall with speed. She chips in. She walks at middle. Couldn't get a good shot off. Vikings recollected in their own end. 45 seconds left here in the first period. 2-0 Pointers. Vikings get it out. Picked back up by Polkamp. Polkamp makes a nice move to the middle. She cuts outside, inside. Between her feet, she almost made her way all the way through to the net. Puck's moved back in the Pointers' defensive end. Torma the Puchnik. Puchnik throws one off the stick of a Viking. Pointers are changing. They could get caught with too many men. They don't. Here come the Pointers breaking back the other way. Jenna Britz chips it in over the blue line. 10 seconds left here in the first. Vikings possess in their own end. Moved up to Hasagawa. Hasagawa in over the blue line. Tries to throw it on net. Blocked by the foot of Torma, and that'll conclude the first period. Period mostly dominated by the Pointers. We'll get the shot total here in just a second. First goal scored by Natalie Ahern. Second goal scored by Abby Skelly, her first collegiate goal. 8 shots for the Pointers after 20, 11 for the Vikings. We'll be back with you in about 15 minutes for the start of the second period. Thank you for tuning in the Pointers Athletics. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a non-conference matchup between the UW Stevens Point Pointers and the Lawrence University Vikings here at the KB Willett Arena. After one period of play, it's 2-0 Pointers. 8 shots on goal for Point, 11 shots on goal for Lawrence. The first goal of the game was scored by Natalie Ahern, only 17 seconds into the first period, assisted by Molly Polkamp and Amanda Puchnik. Second goal for the Pointers scored by Abby Skelly on the power play, assisted by Alyssa Yoakum and Natalie Ahern at 17-17. Getting ready for the puck drop for the second period. Looks to be Molly Polkamp taking it against Emma Perry. Pointers win it back. Torma picks it up for the Pointers, moves it back to Puchnik. Puchnik across the ice for Ahern. Ahern throws it in deep off the stick of Skaborski and into the far corner. Lawrence rips the puck off the glass, past the skates of Puchnik, picked up by Torma. Torma throws it to Ahern, picked up by Polkamp. Polkamp possesses the puck behind the net, tries to throw it out on the near side. Puck picked up and thrown out to the top by Novak. Novak moves it up to Arneson, and Arneson throws a shot on net, gloved by Skaborski. Gonna have a face-off to the glove side of Skaborski. Kendall Rickley on the face-off for the Pointers, taking that against Lena Kinyu. Pointers win it back, throwing the Yoakum. Yoakum throws one on off the glove of Skaborski. Lawrence possesses, throws it all the way down the ice. And it's going to be an icing. Arneson racing back for the Pointers, uncontested. Going to have another face-off to the blocker side of Skaborski this time. Rickley against Kinyu. Pointers pick it up. Andrely tries to throw one on net. Hits a couple bodies in front. Picked up by Kate Boberg. Boberg in over the blue line. Puck's ripped away by Yoakum. Yoakum looks to reverse. Picked off by Boberg. Thrown out front. Viking with the shot. Good stick by Avery Ingbrett. Sloop throws one on Grieg. She sticks that aside. Pointers work for it in the near side corner. Arneson, the Andrely. Andrely up top to Ingbrett. Ingbrett backhands one deep. Skaborski out the play. She backhands one. Moves it up the ice to Boberg. Berg to Hasagawa. Here come the Pointers back the other way. Puck's thrown off the stick of Danny Whelan. Whelan in with Abby Skelly. Whelan tries to throw it out front, blocked away by the Vikings. The Vikings move it down the ice. Puck's going to be picked up by Gianna Nice. She rims it around the boards. To Whelan. Whelan, far side traffic jam. Vikings throw it back in. Regan back to collect. She throws it back to Nice. Nice gains control again. She moves it up to Skelly. Skelly chips it off the boards. Puck's down the ice. Vikings rim it around their own zone. Pointers throw one on just over the top of the net. Shot tipped on, saves Skaborski. Vikings in their own end. Try to throw it out. Pointers recollect in over the blue line. Here come the Pointers. Shot from the outside. Pad saves Skaborski. Puck's moved back behind the Vikings cage. Alexis Ralston picks it up. Ralston Tries to collect. In a scrum with the Vikings. Puck's thrown out of the Vikings end. Torma back to play. She throws one across the ice to Ralston. Ralston can't get to it in time and thrown back in by the Vikings. Puchnik battling the Vikings just below the goal line. Picked up by Emma Perry. Perry tries to curl back. Vikings move it out front. Goal line seam. Nice save by Grieg off of Emma Perry on the back door. A good tic-tac-toe play by the Vikings. Grieg with the big left pad. Keeps that one out. Still 2-0 for the Pointers. 15:52 left here in the first period. Pointers try to move it up along the boards. Picked off again by Perry. Vikings regain possession here in the offensive zone. Throw one towards the net. Off the skate of a Viking. Grieg covers up. Face off to the glove side of Grieg. Puck's loose. Vikings move it up. Then the Pointers get it out of the zone. Here comes the Pointers back the other way. Polkamp, nice move towards the net. Shot. Ooh, just puts it over the crossbar. Puck's picked back up by Arneson at the blue line. Arneson throws one on. High, blockered away by Skaborski. Puck, top of the blue line, the Yoakum. Yoakum, the Polkamp. Looks like it hit a body in front. Finds its way into the corner. Yoakum tries to settle it down in the offensive zone, but it works its way out. Arneson throws one up the ice, intercepted by Lebrec. Lebrec leaves it off for Sloop. Arneson collects, moves it in over the blue line. Sticked away Skaborski off the glass. Sloop moves it up to Boberg. Andrew Lee tries to bring it into the offensive end, but there's going to be an offsides call. Face off on the left dot, just outside of the Viking zone. Vikings win it back. Vikings in. Shot. Puts it off the side of the net of Grieg. No save needed. Puck's contested behind the net. Andrew Lee tries to throw one up to Ingbrett. Off the skate of Ingbrett. They're saying it's an ice, and they blow it dead. Ingbrett on the tail of the Vikings defenders. Gonna have a face off to the glove side of Emily Grieg. Pointers work it around the net. Picked back up by Ingbrett. She throws one back around the Neist. Pointers lose control. Picked back up by the Vikings. Battle along the near side half wall. Here comes Rickley. Rickley backhands one deep into the zone. Puck thrown up to Regan at the blue line. Regan throws it back deep. Pointers get a couple of changes. Puck's battled for by Nest. Here comes Whelan back the other way. Rounds the Viking net. She leaves it off for Torma. Torma throws one on, looking for a tip in front. Couldn't get it. Whelan back around the far corner. Moves it up to Puchnik. Puchnik shot off the shin pads. Torma collects. Puck's tried to be thrown back out in front. Vikings with a couple good sticks, move it away. Puchnik back at the blue line. Shot. Tip in front. A couple good saves by Skaborski. And it's moved out for the Vikings. Vikings throw it all the way down the ice off the stick of Grieg. Vikings get a couple of changes. Puchnik back behind the net. Whelan collects, throws it into the feet of Jenna Britz. Grieg leaves the puck for Puchnik. Over the Whelan. Ooh, good hit by the Pointers. Torma throws it deep. Far corner behind the net of Skaborski. Vikings looking to stretch. A nice move by Ashley Sloop. Pointers in their own end. Try to throw it out. Puck swung at and missed. Here comes the Pointers back the other way. Claire Reistenberg tries to throw it out front. Arneson steps in the one. Shot. Blocked by the Vikings. Another shot on by the Pointers. Blocked again by the Vikings. Can't make its way to Skaborski. Yoakum picks up the puck in the Pointers zone. She holds it on the backhand. Tries to move it up. Picked off by Sloop. Sloop throws it to Arneson. Arneson moves it up the ice to Sydney Wang. Yoakum chips it in, picked up by Lawrence. They move it behind the net. Arneson collects in the neutral zone, chips off the glass, picked up by Emma Perry. Perry for the Vikings, throws it all the way, cross corner dunk. Puck's picked up by Polkamp. Nice edges the collect. Here comes Riley Novak. She tries to chip in. She will. Delayed offsides. They whistle it dead. Offsides on the Pointers. 10:48 here left in the second period. Still 2-0 for the Pointers. Pointers throw it back into the zone. Vikings collect, trying to get it out. They do. Puck's picked up by Polkamp. Polkamp throws it towards Skaborski. Skaborski plays it off the defender. Puck slapped on by Kate Holtz all the way down. Icing on the Vikings. Face off to the blocker side of Skaborski. One back by the Pointers. Puck's thrown off the glass by the Vikings again. Looks to be another delayed ice. Regan back, and they blow it dead again. Rickley on the face-off for the Pointers. She wins it back to Andrely. Andrely throws one on off the shin pads of a Viking. They get the puck to the net and covered up by Skaborski. Rickley back on the face-off for the Pointers, taking it against Meg Landman. Andrely, shot, tipped by Viking. Andrely finds the puck back here in the near side corner. She tries to move one in the middle. Off a couple of Viking skates. Puchnik throws one on, tipped away. Behind the net of Skaborski. Back up to Puchnik. Puchnik can't collect it and makes its way back in the neutral zone. Torma throws it off the boards for Andrely. She took a stick up high, no penalty. Puchnik trying to work it through the neutral zone. Picked back up by Andrely. Lawrence throws it off the Pointer bench. Back for it now is Ingrid. Vikings throw it around the boards behind Greed. Picked up by Puchnik. Puchnik couldn't find her intended target, but icing's waved off. Vikings heading back the other way. Puck's picked off by Arneson. Arneson throws one on the Skaborski. Hits the paddle of the goalie stick and covered up. 8:50 left here in the second period. 2-0 Pointers. We'll be right back after this media timeout. Face off to the blocker side of Skaborski. Pointers through the halfway point. Arneson throws one on. Pointers through the halfway point have 17 shots on goal, while the Vikings have 14. Still 2-0 for the Pointers. Thrown back in by Whelan. Picked back up by Skelly. Skelly to the top to Arneson. Arneson tries to throw one on. That's blocked away by Holtz. Holtz chips one off to Perry. No icing. Perry outraces it. Gillis pursues. She throws it back into the corner. Puck rounds the net, back to Whelan. Sloop steps up at the blue line. She keeps it in for Lawrence. Puck's thrown off the wall all the way down the ice. Icing on the Pointers. Looked like Jenna Britz was trying to make a stretch pass just out of the reach of anybody in a gold jersey. Landman to take the face off for the Vikings. Vikings win it back, move it to the top, throw one on, blocked away by the stick of Whelan. Puck's moved back around the net to Arneson. Arneson chips it off the stick of a Viking. Can't be an ice. Here comes Skelly. Skelly in. Nice move. Backhand. Oh, off the side of the cage. Can't get it to go. Skelly with a clear-cut breakaway. Nice move to the backhand, and it looks like she just couldn't slip it in. Pointers back in their own zone. Try to clear it out. Thrown back in by the Vikings. Grieg out the play. Leaves it for Arneson. Arneson backhands one. Picked up by Nice. Pointers move it back out. Here comes Kaya Johnson. Down the left wing. Around the net. Johnson tries to throw it middle. Off the ankles of a Viking. Here comes the Vikings working it back the other way. Kenyu stripped of the puck. Puck's possessed by the Pointers. They try to throw one on. That one's blocked up. Puck works its way all the way down the ice. No icing. Nice. Tries to throw it. Picked up by the Vikings. Another delayed offsides. Here's Taylor Regan. Regan backhands one back to Nice. Nice the wang. Emma Perry swoops in. Collects the puck, moves it off the boards. Perry back on it as she's pinned up against the boards by Nice. Nice without a stick. Broberg and Perry working for Lawrence, trying to gain possession. They do. They throw it up to the blue line. Shot on. Tipped a couple of times. Finally finds Grieg, and she covers up. 5:53 left in the second period. Face off the blocker side of Grieg. She made a couple good saves right there to cover that puck up as it was tipped multiple times. Polkamp intercepts the puck. Vikings throw it back towards Grieg. She's going to elect to cover it up. We're going to do another face-off. Another face-off coming up to the blocker side of Grieg. Pointers have Polkamp on the dot, going against Landman. Puck won back by the Pointers. Puchnik to Torma. Torma tries to move it on. Novak picks it up on the far wall. Puck still loose. Vikings gain possession. They throw it up. Sloop tries to throw it on. That's blocked away by Ahern. Polkamp moves it to Ahern. Ahern tries to go across the ice to Novak. Viking skates in the way. Torma moves it to Polkamp. Polkamp with a nice move. Landman gets the body position on her and steals the puck. Puck's thrown right out in front. Ooh, and the Pointers can't get to it. Pointers throw it off the boards near the Zamboni door on the far side. Puck's moved up to Arneson. Arneson throws one on, redirected over the Yoakum. Yoakum throws it towards the net. A tip by Novak. Hits the side of the cage. Can't find its way in. Arneson all the way back over the Yoakum. Yoakum eyes up the net. Shot and a tip and a goal. Riley Novak scores off the shot from Yoakum. A deflection right out in front. Looked to be Riley Novak from Yoakum from Ahern. Excuse me, Arneson. Pointers with 2 deflection goals on the night already. Third goal for the Pointers, scored with 4:35 remaining here in the second period. All around, good play, way to work it around the zone by the Pointers. They were right back to work off of the faceoff. They throw it around below the goal line. Vikings throw it out of the zone. Cleared, not going to have enough to make it for an icing. Picked up by Regan in the defensive end. Here comes Ingbret. Ingbret's broken up. Nice looking to make a play. Throws it back to Regan behind the net. Quickly pressured by Boberg. In the feet of Ingbret again. Hasagawa with the pressure for the Vikings. Vikings throw one deep. Picked up by Boberg. Boberg throws it to the blue line. The defense for the Vikings throw it around. Picked up by Emma Perry. Puck battled for here on the near side. Perry moves it across. Shot on by the Vikings into the stomach of Grieg. She has a slight issue covering it up, but she ends up getting it. Gonna have a face-off to her glove side. Puck was bobbled off of the chest protector, but she was able to clean it up right out in front. Brickley wins it back for the Pointers. Torma backhands it. Back to Torma below the Pointers' goal line. Throws it off the feet of number 87, Sullivan Gillis. Back around for Torma. Torma, the Puchnik. Broken up by Gillis. Gillis tries to throw it up. Here comes Danny Whelan. Whelan in over the blue. Top of the circle. Shot. Glove save Skaborski. Whelan got plenty of power on that one, but Skaborski matches her. Gloves it up nicely. 2:58 left here in the second period. Face off to the glove hand of Skaborski. Vikings try to chip it out. Torma throws one on. Sticked away by Skaborski. She recollects. Covers up for another faceoff. Taking the face-off for the Pointers, Jenna Britz. Thrown off the glass by the Vikings. Here come the Vikings breaking the other way. They curl up in their offensive zone. Puck's picked up by Meg Landman. Worked along the boards by the Vikings. Pointers recollect. Pointers try to throw one into the middle to Whelan. Whelan pursuing on the forecheck. Puck ends up right here in front of the benches. O'Brien for the Vikings chips it in. Torma back to play it. She's going to backhand one to Whelan. Whelan to Wang. Sydney Wang, a freshman out of Mankato, Minnesota. Whelan throws it to Puchnik. Puchnik tries to move it along. Battled again here in the near side, right in front of the benches. Wang to Torma. Torma throws it off the boards. Oh, right past the skate of Alexis Ralston. Ralston beats out the icing. Vikings try to clear one out. Thrown back towards the net by Yoakum. Puck makes its way just past Arneson. Vikings trying to break back the other way. Sydney Wang throws it behind the net. Yoakum backhands one off the shin pads of number 20, Kate Holtz. Holtz tries to make a play, picked back up by the Pointers. Vikings collect here in the offensive zone. Puck ended up behind Holtz. Sydney Wang throws it all the way down the ice, and there will be an icing. 59 seconds left here in the second period. 3-0 Pointers. Lawrence still looking for their first win of the season, starting off 0-7. Pointers win it. They move it out to number 8, Alexis Ralston. Ralston's broken up. Here comes the Vikings back the other way. Josie Daly in, throws it back. Puck works its way in the corner. Daly collects again in her skates. 35 seconds left here in the second. Puck's moved to Yoakum. Yoakum cuts towards the middle, dangerous in front of the net. Moves it to Ralston. Ralston chips it in. Another icing's going to be called. Pointers can't get a change. .24 seconds left in the period. Looks as if Lawrence is trying to set up something before the period ends. Lawrence trying to work something to pull the goalie. To have 6 attackers here. They throw it on net off the faceoff, covered up by Grieg. Pointers finally get the change that they needed. Hemmed in for a little bit. Couldn't get the right personnel back on the ice. They now have fresh bodies with 21 seconds to go. Molly Polkamp on the draw. She moves it back. Puck's thrown on towards the empty net, just off to the right side. Going to be another icing. 12 seconds to go here in the second period. Lawrence once again elects to go to the glove side of Emily Grieg. 6 attackers for Lawrence, 5 for the Pointers. Kate Holtz against Polkamp on the draw. Polkamp is able to win it. Pointers throw it all the way down. They beat out the icing. Oh, shot across the net by Ahern. She can't get it to go in the empty net. It's time the Vikings ice, but the clock will run out. That is the end of the second period. Pointers leading 3-0. We'll be back with the third period in about 15 minutes. Thank you for tuning in and listening to Pointers Athletics. Welcome back, everybody, for the third period of play here at the KB Willett Arena between the Lawrence University Vikings and the UWSP Pointers. The score is 3-0 heading into the third period. 21 shots on goal for the Pointers, 16 for the Vikings. Vikings looking to mount a comeback to find their first win of the season, while the Pointers look to lock down and find their fifth. About to drop the puck for this third and final period of the night here on Tuesday. Great night for hockey as it snowed this morning, the first snow here in Stevens Point. The Pointers win it back. Polkamp, the Torma, the Puchnik. Puchnik throws it deep into the board. She's knocked over by Holtz. Vikings rim it around. Torma picks it back up, tries to throw it towards the net. Picked up by Ahern. Ahern tries the spin and shoot. She's tripped up, no penalty. Puck's worked back to Torma. Vikings try to throw it out. Torma again throws one on Skaborski, and she'll cover up and hold. Kind of a face-off to the glove side. Pointers change. Vikings change. Rickley taking the face-off for the Pointers. Kinyu taking the face-off for the Vikings. Possession gained by the Vikings. Puck's moved out to Boberg. Boberg throws it deep into the Pointers' end. Played by Grieg. Yoakum backhands one to Arneson. Arneson throws one up the middle. That one's touched by Ingbrett. She will not outrace the icing. Sloop will get there first. Vikings elect to take the face-off on the blocker side of Grieg. Face-off won by the Vikings. Moved up to Sloop. Sloop tries to throw one on off the skate of Arneson. Thrown back up the Sloop. Just through her skates. All the way back down the Skaborski. Anderle skating hard. Forecheck for the Pointers. Forces a turnover out to Yoakum. Yoakum over the red line. Throws one at Skaborski. Hits her stick. Played back out. Here comes the Vikings the other way. In over the top of the circle. Thrown on. Blockered away by Grieg. Picked up by... That's Abby Skelly. Skelly works it through the middle. She backhands one towards Skaborski. Skaborski's going to cover her up and get another whistle. Going to have a face-off in the Viking zone. Jenna Britt's taking the face off for the Pointers. She wins it back. Shot on by the Pointers off the blocker of Skaborski. That shot came from Gianna Nice. Pointers move it down. Broken up by the Vikings. Vikings look to chip it off the glass and out. Josie Daly for the Vikings can't clear. Moved up. Puck rimmed around the net. Grieg stays in. Nice back to play. She moves it around the boards. Finds Claire Reistenberg. Reistenberg tries to get it out. Thrown back in by the Vikings. They were able to sustain pressure. Nice. Moves it to Whelan. Nice picks it back up again. She backhands one to Regan behind the net. Regan lost it in her skates. She turns back, picks it up. Looks to go D to D again. That's broken up by Holtz. Holtz tries to throw it out front. Blocked away. Holtz back on it, but Nice picks it up. Nice carries it around the net. Now she's looking to take it back behind the net again. Nice throws one up to Whelan. Whelan chips it out to Topolsky. Puck rimmed around Grieg. Picked up by Emma Perry. She moves it around. Nice battles for the puck in the far corner. Puck's thrown out by Jenna Britz. Alexis Ralston makes her way deep into the zone, throws a backhand through the middle. Picked up by the Vikings. They're going to move it back in. Vikings applying plenty of pressure here in the third period. Trying to get themselves out of this 3-0 hole. Nice back for the pointer. She moves it along. Back in for the Vikings. The Vikings applying plenty of pressure. Almost broken up by Boberg, but Polkamp gets it out. Here come the Vikings in over the red line. They try to throw it in again. Picked off by Ahern. Ahern out to Novak. Novak. Puck sticked away. Ahern walks it into the zone. She's bumped off the puck. Ahern gathers it back. Throws it across the Torma. Torma throws it deep around the net. Looking for Polkamp out of her reach. Puck fought for in the near corner. Polkamp rolls out of the corner. Tries to throw one on net. Just off to the wide right of the cage. Puchnik gains it back in her defensive zone to Polkamp. Polkamp tries to throw it in off of a couple of Vikings as they look to change. Here come the Vikings back up. They throw it deep. Here in the near corner, Puchnik back to play. She moves it along into the feet of Ahern. Ahern. Worked along the Zamboni door. Puchnik gets it, throws it across the Torma. Torma moves it out to Johnson. Torma finds the puck again. Out to Puchnik. She's broken up by Landman. And Puchnik gets it deep. Pointers on the forecheck. Puck behind Skaborski. It's worked out by number 27, Reese DeBert. A lot of players on for the Vikings. No call. Ingbrett throws a puck on. Puck's up in the air. Shot on again by number 15, Kendall Rickley. Skaborski with two big saves right in front of the net. Back out to Arneson. Arneson throws it across the Yoakum. Yoakum back the Whelan. Ingbrett tries to throw it back towards the net. Puck bobbles around here in the near side corner. Thrown up to Arneson. Arneson can't keep it onside. Vikings move it out. Broken up by Yoakum at the red line, and she'll throw it back in. Skaborski out behind the net to play. She forehand rims one around the boards. Picked up just outside the defensive end for the Vikings. Tara Regan tries to throw one across. Picked up by Pradkin. A great stick lift by Abby Skelly forces the Vikings offsides. Face off outside the Pointers end. Jenna Britz taking the face off for the Pointers against number 15, Lena Kinyu. Puck's thrown back to Puchnik. She throws it over the Torma. Torma circles back. Throws one behind the net to Puchnik. Puchnik to Andrely. Andrely wheeling up the left wing. She makes a nice move through a couple of defenders. She's in, looks, puts it on, 5-hole shot and a goal. Andrely works her way through about three Vikings and throws it through the 5-hole of Skaborski to make the game 4-0. A great individual effort by Andrely. That's Andrely's 26th goal of her career, the senior from Blaine, Minnesota. What a great play. She split two defenders, walked it towards the net, and just slipped it through the 5-hole of Skaborski. Here comes the Pointers back again with pressure. Yoakum trying to take it towards the net. She throws it across the crease. Yoakum throws it deep. Broken up. Sydney Wang throws it the Arneson. She threw it just wide. Vikings looking to make their way back out of the zone. Arneson throws it up to Rawlston. Rawlston touched it, so no ice. Vikings breaking out of their own end again. They work it into the zone. Looks like Reisenberg gets it out. Vikings throw it off the boards, trying to relieve the pressure in the feet of Josie Daly. Puck's thrown across the Tara Regan. Regan elects to dump it in. Skaborski back out to play. She stops the puck, throws it forehand. Regan gets it back. Thrown on net, blocked by a couple of Vikings. Puck's toss up the nice. Nice chops one on to the Vikings. Looks like number 15, Kendall Rickley, tried to slap one towards the net. Another shot from the Pointers, patted away by Skaborski. Here's Nice again at the blue line. She tries to drop it off. Vikings intercept. They break back the other way. Looks to be Emma Berger. She throws a shot on, saved by Grieg. Grieg hasn't seen much action in a little bit. 11:43 the play here in the third period. Pointers throw it all the way down. Going to be an icing. Vikings to take the face-off to the blocker side of Grieg. Rickley taking it for the Pointers. Puck ends up in a couple skates. Collected by the Vikings. Vikings work it in the far corner. They throw it to Boberg. Boberg can't handle it. Pointers clear. Pradkin throws it back in for the Vikings with sustained pressure. Delayed offsides. Pointers throw it back deep. Off the skates of Todd Treader, the linesman. Pucks move back up. Molly Polkamp with a beautiful move to work it into the zone. She drives on the backhand. She's hooked. Going to be a penalty for Lawrence. Pointers going back on the power play. 2 minutes for hooking coming up for, it looks like Evelyn Pradkin. Pradkin, 2 minutes for hooking at 10:46 here in the third. 4-0 Pointers, looking to increase their lead to 5-0. They're going to take the face-off to the blocker side of Skaborski. Jenna Britz takes the face-off, moves it back to Polkamp. Polkamp tries to throw one on. She misses it off the toe of her stick, moved up the Nice. Nice tries to move it to Andrew Lee. She's broken up, but recollects. Nice throws one towards the net. Patted away by Skaborski. Picked up by Andrew Lee in the far corner. Back up to Nice. Nice to Polkamp. Polkamp, plenty of time. Throws it over the Brits. Out of her reach. Down to Novak. Novak the Brits. The Polkamp. Polkamp shot on. Blocked away by a Pointer. Another backhand try. Blocked away by a Viking. Brits possesses here on the near side. She throws it up to Polkamp. Polkamp to Nice. Nice creates some space. Throws it in the shin pads of a Viking. Picked back up by Polkamp. Polkamp looking to walk it down and fire. Drops it back off the Nice. Nice throws it on. Just off wide of the net. Picked up by Brits. Brits to Anderley. Anderley on the goal line. Throws it to Brits. Back down to Anderley. Polkamp, top of the circle, shot off the skate of a Viking. A swing and a miss by Anderley. Thrown back the Brits. Brits, Polkamp. Polkamp, shot. Oh, off the post, just over the glove of Skaborski. Polkamp with great poise. Throws it back down. Novak right out in front. Nobody's there. And the Vikings ice. Grieg out the play. She's looking to stretch the play up. That puck's right back up to Abby Skelly. Skelly, the Whelan. Whelan walking it towards the net. Throws it behind the Natalie Ahern. Regan back to Ahern. Good opportunity. Shot blocked by Viking. Skelly picks it back up. Throws one towards the net. Ooh, just wide again to the glove side of Skaborski. Puck finds its way out. Pointers have to regroup. Yoakum collects. Throws it right in the Gillis. Gillis in. Shot. Oh, great save by Grieg to keep the Vikings off the board. Gillis with a breakaway off of a turnover right up the middle. Pointers rim it all the way back into the Viking zone. Puck's moved along by Holtz. There's going to be no icing. Torma's back to play. Pointers calling for a stretch. Off the stick of Claire Reisenberg. Vikings. Quick personnel change. Boberg on the ice. Grieg out the play. She slaps one ahead, trying to move the play north. Puchnik trying to get the puck out of the zone. Couple too many stick handles. And Boberg puts it back in. Torma throws it all the way around the Reisenberg. Reisenberg with a nice play out to Ralston. Ralston in one-on-one. Walks it into the corner. Reisenberg trying to be there, the support. Puck's thrown all the way down the ice. No icing. Puck's thrown by Arneson. Gets out of the Pointer end. Landman throws it back in. And Arneson behind Grieg. Puck's moved on. Josie Daly. And then Landman. Landman throws it all the way around. That's going to find number 27, Reese DeBert. Lebrecht throws it across. Shot on by Lawrence. Tipped away. Lebrecht back again. She throws it around the boards. Arneson gets her stick in the way. A scrum here on the near side. Landman gets out, throws one on. Oh! Landman threw one on. A rebound kicked right out in front, and Grieg's able to make the rebound save as well. Once again, keeping the Vikings off the board. What a great save by Emily Grieg. She kicked out a bad rebound, but made up for it. In that case, I'd say it's nullified. Still 4-0 for the Pointers. 6:32 left here in the third period. 21 shots per point, 16 for Lawrence. Here comes Kaya Johnson up the ice. She moves it across to Ingbrett. Ingbrett throws one on, covered up by Skaborski. Going to have another whistle and a face-off in the Viking end. This will be the first time we can get a media timeout. We'll be right back with you guys after this brief media timeout. Thank you for tuning in to Pointers Athletics. Face off to the glove side of Skaborski. Won by the Vikings. Pointers trying to sustain pressure and keep it in. Polkamp and Novak battle for it. Skaborski plays it to the left of her. Thrown up the wall. Vikings are able to get it out. Polkamp's there to try and keep it in the Vikings' end. Vikings try to go D the D. Puck bobbles around a little bit. Here they go, trying to break it back up. Ahern almost got a good look right in front. Vikings chip it out. Puck's thrown back in the Skaborski. She'll decide to cover up as Polkamp was coming straight for the defender. 5:32 left here in the third period. After the media timeout, 27 shots for the Pointers, 21 for the Lawrence Vikings. Vikings win it back. They throw it up the divert. Here come the Pointers, walk it in. Couple players tripped up, no shot on net. Here come the Vikings trying to break back the other way. Puchnik throws it off to Whelan. Whelan tries to throw it deep. She can't get it deep. Skelly throwing over the Torma. Torma trying the pressure. Skelly thrown in again off the skates of Torma. Going to be an offsides. Skelly trying to just get it deep. Hits the skates of Torma for an automatic offside. Puck's going to be on the center dot. Jenna Britz taking the face off for the Pointer. She wins it back to Yoakum. Yoakum in over the blue line. Another offsides called on the Pointers. They're saying Whelan went over the blue before Britz could. Pointers change the forwards. Alexis Ralston on the ice with Sydney Wang and Claire Reisenberg. Vikings collect in their own end, move it behind their net. They're looking for a stretch play. Broken up by Yoakum. Yoakum keeps it in the Viking end. Here come the Vikings. 3-on-2, kicked out to O'Brien. O'Brien throws it around. Emma Perry retrieves. Puck moves out to Boberg. She throws it to Lebrec at the blue line. Lebrec looks to walk it down. She cuts towards the net. Oh, she puts it just off the side of the right post. Sloop tries to put one on. Blocked off by Alexis Ralston. Ralston picks up again. In over the red line. Throws it towards Skaborski. She's got plenty of time to play. She will play it off to Sloop. Sloop moves it onwards to Holtz. Puck here near the boards. Looked almost too many men for Lawrence, but they keep it. Pointers in. Looked like a hook. No call. Refs letting it play here with 3:45 left in the third. Vikings move it out. Gets caught up in the referee and Tara Regan. Regan with good pressure. Puck's moved back to Ingrid. It seems like the referee cannot get out of the way. Puck's just sitting there in between the feet. Puck's off to the side. Slips through Grieg. Pointers collect in their own zone. Good chip by the Vikings. Emma Perry collects. Battle here right in front of the Pointers bench. Perry trying to chase the puck down. Thrown off the far wall. Vikings regain possession. DeBritt tries to throw it back in. Here comes Novak back the other way for the Pointers. She slips one past the Lawrence defenders. Skaborski lets it slide by. Novak collides with the Vikings defenseman and into the boards. Pointers gain possession. Ahern throws one towards the net. Oh, takes an odd bounce off the ice just to wide of the pad of Skaborski. Puck's in Novak's feet. She throws it back deep. Behind the Viking net. DeBert clears. Off the skate of the referee again. Novak tries to throw it on. Picked up by Josie Daly, and she'll get it deep and go for a change. Here come the Pointers. Pushnik, the Torma. They can't control. Knocked away by a Viking. Torma gets it, throws it across ice. Looking for Novak. Thrown back in by Pradkin. Chipped out by the Pointers. Puck skating down the ice. They'll call an icing. 1:44 left here in the third period. 4-0 Pointers. Polkamp taking the draw for the Pointers. Landman for the Vikings. One back by the Pointers. Here on the near half wall. Sloop moves it across the ice for the Vikings. They throw it all the way around the boards. Going to be picked up by number 20, Danny Whelan. Whelan breaks free. One-on-one with the defender. Cuts across the ice. She loses the puck. Puck moves back the other way for Lawrence. Whelan looking to make another break. Whelan works one-on-one against Sloop. Puck finds Jenna Britz. Britz moves it near half wall. A battle for the loose puck. Picked up by Landman. Landman moves at the Britz. Back to Landman. Landman throws it deep. Boberg on the attack. On top of Yoakum. Yoakum backhands one. Through the middle. Boberg gives it off to Perry. Perry misses on the one-timer. Perry moves it up top. Lawrence across. Broken up by Whelan. Whelan with a nice stick. They throw it back deep. Yoakum throws it off the boards. A couple of players collide in front of the Pointer bench. 15 seconds left to play here in the period. Puck picked off by Arneson. Moves it over to Yoakum. Yoakum across the ice. Here comes the Pointers. Breaking. Three on one. Shot on. Sticked away Skaborski. Slight pile up in front of the net. And the game will come to an end 4-0. The Pointers are able to shut out the Lawrence University Vikings by a score of 4-0. Going over the goals for the Pointers. First goal of the game scored by Natalie Ahern, assisted by Molly Polkamp and Amanda Puchnik. 17 seconds into the game off of a great deflection. Second goal of the game scored by Abby Skelly, assisted by Alyssa Yoakum and Natalie Ahern as well on the power play at 17-17 in the first period. Third goal for the Pointers scored by Riley Novak, assisted by Alyssa Yoakum and Skylar Arneson at 15:25 in the second period. Fourth goal scored by the Pointers by Maddie Anderley off of a beautiful move all by herself. That's going to do it for us here at the KB Willett Arena. Yes, the fourth goal unassisted by Maddie Anderley. That moves the Pointers to 5-2-0. And Lawrence to 0-8. Lawrence still looking for their first win, but a dominating win by the Pointers tonight. The shots end up 28 for the Pointers, 22 for the Vikings. Great game overall by the Pointers. This is Alex Proctor. I hope you all have a good night, and we'll see you next time.